Hello there, world of tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, I am going to be sharing my opinions, thoughts, and feelings on Unreal Engine 5. Obviously, everybody's been quite vocal with their opinions. And as many of you know, I am quite unbiased, right? I don't let wargaming influence my opinions. I'm not an official CC, even though for some reason people think I am. I'm not. Yeah, I have a press account, but I am not signed with wargaming in any way. I don't have any contract with them. I'm not a CC. And not only that, but I'm quite critical of wargaming very commonly. So when it comes to people saying, oh, you're sponsored by wargaming to make your opinions, I'm not. I mean, it's literally illegal to be sponsored by a company and not say it in a video. I am not sponsored by wargaming, and I can guarantee that. So with that out of the way, I'm going to be sharing my honest opinions, thoughts, and takes on Unreal Engine 5 with the information we currently have on it. Now, obviously, on the 24th, we are having the open test released, and I will be making more content when we get the open test. But with that being said, let's start off with the basics. Graphics. Obviously, graphics are a really good thing, but also they could be a bad thing. Mainly because there's a lot of people worried that potato phones aren't going to be able to run Unreal Engine 5. Here's my honest take on it. Wargaming has already listed that the required or recommended specifications should be at minimum an iPhone 7. An iPhone 7 is over a decade old at this point, and you can buy one on eBay for about $60 US. If you can play Blitz and afford to spend money on crates, you should be able to afford an iPhone 7. If you can't afford an iPhone 7 and you're playing Blitz on like a flip phone or like a Nokia from 20 years ago, I don't know what to say. I don't. Like, maybe Blitz shouldn't be your main priority on if you can play it or not, and maybe, like, meeting end-to-end daily food requirements should be more important to you. I don't know what to say. I mean, I feel like Blitz being able to run on 10-year-old devices is pretty impressive if you ask me. A lot of people are saying, oh, Unreal Engine's very unoptimized. That's not true. In fact, that's incredibly wrong. Unreal Engine is one of the most optimized game engines ever created, and it runs better than any other game engine I've played on when it comes to modern games. Most modern games run on Unreal Engine. Left 4 Dead, for example, is a game that I've played a crap ton of, over 500 hours, and it's one of the best running games I literally have on my computer. So, no. The comments about Unreal Engine being unoptimized is wrong. That's a rumor that's been spread by people. And B, it's going to run fine on basically any Blitz device. Even if you're a Switch player, a Switch has double the RAM as a frickin' iPhone 7. You'll be fine. There's no problems there. With that being said, that comes with the graphics. What will the graphics be like on Blitz? Well, obviously, they're going to be better. There's going to be 15 maps released on day one, and there's going to be a lot better graphics in general. Obviously, if you're playing on a lower-end device, you're just going to turn your graphics to low, so it probably won't be much of a difference to the current Blitz we have. But if you're on a device like me, where you either have an iPad Pro and you're running 120 FPS, or you're on a computer, you're going to be able to set your graphics quite high, and the game's going to look really good. We've already seen some snippets of the game in their trailer, and it looks fantastic. So because of that, I'm quite glad. I think a lot of us have been wanting enhanced graphics for Blitz when it comes to the game, and I'm completely happy and content with the fact that they are making the graphics better. So when it comes to the graphics, when it comes to the engine, that is all good news. Now we arrive to some of the bad news, right? This is where people are nervous, and that is commanders and sets. Let's start off with sets. Really, I can't share my full opinion on sets right now because we don't know enough about them. Wargaming has shown us a couple snippets of sets and how they're going to somewhat work, as it's going to be tanks that are categorized as similar, and they're going to work like mini tech trees. But obviously, we're going to have to see more about these sets as the open test gets released. Two of my friends, one of which is a CC, has told me that sets actually are very well optimized. Another one isn't a CC, but has had very close insider information, and both of them have said sets are actually really nice, and apparently there's going to be a search function. So with there being a search function, it isn't going to matter too much to me. If I can just search, let's say somebody on live stream donates to see a Waffenträger played, well, I can very easily just go to search bar and type Waffenträger, and it'll pull up. So I don't have a problem with that. If sets are simple and they're easy to use and the filters are fine, I don't have a problem. We'll have to see what happens with them, and what happens with the tech trees in general. In general, though, sets aren't going to change the gameplay of Blitz. It's going to be the UI. I don't have a problem with the UI changing as long as the gameplay itself is going to be the same. Now, Wargaming has confirmed that no rebalance changes are going to be occurring with Unreal Engine. And what that means is that at least we're not going to have to worry about tanks being completely changed when they're released. That's not going to be a problem at all. But there is something that will be changing, and this is the major thing that I'm nervous about, and that is the commanders. Commanders are something that I've talked a lot about in the past. Essentially, they are removing crew skills from the game, and in return we have commanders. And commanders are going to be assignable to certain tanks. So, for example, Duncan is available for every tank in the game, and he's probably the first commander you get as a new player. And Duncan's going to give you a boost to damage per shot every third shell, and an up to 10.5% reload boost. And that's huge. But you do have to remember Wargaming's removing all the crew skills, and there's a lot of crew skills in the game. So with the crew skills being removed, while these buffs are big, they're not nearly as big as all the crew skills in the game, so that is something to keep in mind. But right now, the thing I don't like about the commanders is, A, some of them are just stupid. Like, the Tank Destroyer one gives you a 30% camo boost. And because Wargaming's removing crew skills, it means that all the other tanks are losing camo. So Tank Destroyers are gaining camo, while all the other tanks are losing camo. And as I've already shown in previous videos, Tank Destroyers are entirely broken right now due to the amount of camo they have. They're literally going to be able to outspot light tanks in Unreal Engine if that value does not change. So the commanders right now are very poorly balanced and need to be reworked, and I disagree with that. I also disagree with the fact that Wargaming may be selling premium commanders, as in, you know, War Robots did the same thing. War Robots has commanders, and you could spend money on commanders, and what that would do is it would give you abilities that somebody who didn't spend money would not have access to. If Wargaming does that, it could kill the game. They cannot do that, and I've explained this in the past. Wargaming needs to make commanders free. If they make all commanders free and unlockable by playing the game, then I have no problems with it. But the moment Wargaming goes down the slippery road of making commanders pay to win, that is when we arrive at a problem. If they start putting commanders in loot boxes, I am going to be absolutely crapping on Wargaming, and I'm going to say it now, and that's the major thing I'm worried about. But I actually don't hate the idea of commanders. I think that a lot of people are being very critical on them because, oh, they look like Fortnite. Bro, every single modern game now has some sort of main character. Name a modern game that doesn't. Call of Duty has operators that you can choose from, and it's the same thing. Like, basically all modern games. It's just the way it works. It kind of reminds me of, like, Subway Surfers. But the difference is, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, Fortnite. But Fortnite doesn't give you abilities. They're just skins, you know? In this game, you actually do get abilities. So I don't get why it's being compared to Fortnite. I really don't think that's a comparable thing. The commanders are going to give you special abilities, and I have no problem with that. I think that diversity in the game is good. I've talked about the fact that I would like more diverse equipment options, and this is kind of like that. So I actually don't hate the idea of commanders. I hate the idea of commanders being behind a paywall. That's the problem. So they need to be balanced, and they need to be free. That's the major thing that I'm worried about with Blitz. Apart from that, the matchmaker is being changed. It is going to be a version of skill-based matchmaking, basically like COD Ranked. But I don't have a problem with skill-based matchmaking if it's put into the game properly. So we'll have to see what happens there. Most likely, though, it'll just be the skill-based matchmaking we've had in the past. A noob MM is going to be removed, which shouldn't matter because they're also putting in skill-based matchmaking. So basically, noob MM is staying in the game because noobs will fight noobs and skilled players will fight skilled players. Apart from that, the game isn't changing much. I mean, yes, Tier 7 is now going to be the highest tier, but that's just because tiers 1 through 3 are being removed. The actual gameplay between the tiers are going to stay the same. As I said, tank balance is going to stay the same. The vehicles that you have in your garage are going to be transferred over. So all the tanks I have on this account right now are going to be on Unreal Engine. That's not going to change. The overall aspect of the game, when you press battle, is going to be very similar to the same battle experience we have now. And I don't have problems with that. The only thing that I'm worried about is commanders. I think people are having a huge overreaction to Unreal Engine 5, and it doesn't even make sense to me what people are really complaining about. I think it is Commanders and the fact that they're complaining about sets, but I don't know, man. We'll have to see more when the game obviously develops here and we get more information. But you can let me know your personal feelings, comments, and opinions down below. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.